Hey garden friends, today I want to talk to you about why growing from organically grown seeds can create more robust, resilient plants and make it a little bit easier for you to grow them beautifully. If you've gardened for very long, you have noted how some plants will grow vigorously right out of the gate, right from the time you start them on through their entire lifespan, whether it's a perennial or an annual. Now, to set yourself up for success and to give yourself a leg up, so to speak, in the gardening world, then growing from organically grown seeds could be for you. Now, searching for them online, I have found not as many varieties, but maybe I just didn't look hard enough. If you type in Google search or ChatGPT search or whatever for organically grown seeds, it'll pop up different providers for them. But today we're going to talk about why. Why is organically grown seeds tougher, or the plants from them more resilient, tougher, and easier for you to grow in your garden? So first of all, I have my notes. First of all, organically grown seeds are naturally adapted. Now, unlike conventionally produced seeds, they were grown without synthetic fertilizers or chemical treatments. So they've had to battle it out on their own already. So they're grown in real conditions, real soil, under all kinds of conditions. And so over time, the parent plants adapt to thrive without any of those inputs. And so they pass on the genetic resilience to their seeds that they produce. And I listened to a podcast, and it was, I don't know, I guess a professor or someone up at UC Davis at their testing gardens, and they were growing they had zinnias, for example, and they were growing them all organically. And they were testing them as far as conditions, as far as the seeds that came from the organically grown flowers and how well they grew and all kinds of things. And the outcome was so impressive to me that it sold me on, if I can, or if I want to, spend a little extra money, get organically grown seeds. Now, there's a little caveat here I wanted to mention, that if you grow conventionally grown seeds, you grow plants from them, and then the ones that do really well for you, you start collecting the seeds. As long as they're not a hybrid, they will come true. They're open pollinated. And then as you collect the seeds from the plants that did the best in your garden, then those seedlings will have adapted to your conditions, and the seeds or the plants from those seeds will become tougher and tougher and be able to resist pest pressure and fungus and whatever you are contending with, poor soil, all of those. So that's just one thing I wanted to throw in there. I'm going to look up my notes. So here's point number 2. Healthier soil and ecosystem support stronger plants. Because organic seed production supports healthy soil life, that's what they're doing. They focus on the soil to get the best from the plants. Those seeds are often primed to grow in living, thriving garden beds. Healthy soil teems with beneficial microbes and fungi that work in harmony with plants' roots, helping them access nutrients and water more efficiently. When your seeds are born in living soil, they are better prepared to make the most of your garden's natural ecosystem. So the result is more robust plants. Yes, and I don't want to say preached that here on my blog or vlog and YouTube channel, but yeah, I have promoted healthy soil is where you start, no matter where you're gardening. If you have dead soil, which almost no soil is dead if it's growing weeds, completely dead. But if you work and focus on, at first, getting your soil improved, then you'll have better success. And you can do that with many different methods: composting, cover crops, Other things, I do have a video on cover crops. The one right now I have been most impressed with is buckwheat. And in fact, I needed to get that spread out. No, it's a warm weather one, so whatever. It would, if I threw the seeds out now, it would germinate in spring when it was warmer and then come up in the spring. And then I just chop it back in increments and let that fall into the soil. I don't pull them up. I just continually keep cutting them back. And they will grow, the buckwheat will grow among your other flowers, and it won't rob them of nutrients or whatever. It is always doing good. And in fact, there was a podcast I listened to on cover crops, and the flower farmer, she was down like in Tasmania or something. She had high acid soil, and she planted buckwheat in her beds for her cut flower farm. And then come spring, when she wanted to put in her flowers, she just cut back the ones along each side of the bed, but the very middle, she kept the buckwheat. And she grew her cut flowers with the buckwheat. And at the end of the season, the first season of using the buckwheat, her soil had neutralized to a neutral pH, which that's huge. So from then on, I was sold on buckwheat, and I have found I really liked it too. This year, I didn't do so much in the summer, and yeah, I'm sorry I didn't. But yeah, that's one thing that is really great. Cover crops for helping your soil. You never want your soil to be naked. That's why there's always trying to put up weeds or something to cover itself. So if you cover it, whether it's with a cover crop, a good mulch, sometimes I use alfalfa hay to create a cover, and the worms love it, fixes nitrogen into the soil, all of that. It's all good stuff. So point number three here is there's no synthetic chemicals or coatings. So it says many conventional seeds are treated with synthetic fungicides or pesticides. While this might sound like a good way to protect young plants, it can actually disrupt the natural balance of your soil and make your seedlings dependent on outside inputs. Organic seeds skip the chemical coatings, allowing you to build a more self-sustaining, chemical-free garden. This not only benefits your plants, but also the pollinators, beneficial insects, and wildlife that make your garden come to life. Now, I'm reading this. This is a blog post I've been working on, and I wanted to make sure I gave you good information, or instead of me just winging it. But yeah, so just consider that. Now, I don't just use organically grown seeds. I grow all kinds of seeds. So this is just an added information for why it's beneficial to grow from organic seeds. So number 4, better germination in real garden conditions. Now we as gardeners don't have primo conditions all the time. We have challenging conditions. I know I do. So seeds grown organically are bred to germinate and thrive in less than perfect conditions. Instead of being pampered with synthetic nutrients in controlled settings, they're used to growing in real garden soil. This means when you plant them in your own garden bed or containers, they often germinate more reliably and grow sturdier seedlings. It's like giving your plants a head start on learning how to thrive. Now, that's not to say that others won't thrive for you. I should do a side-by-side test. That'd be a fun experiment come this next summer. Maybe get some organic zinnias and some other zinnias. And if they came up equally, great. No hard feelings here. But it's good to know that sometimes going organic not only helps the earth, but also, it helps you be a better gardener, or helps you have an easier time gardening, not really make you a better gardener. So 5, supporting biodiversity and seed integrity. So choosing organic seeds also means you're supporting growers who prioritize preserving genetic diversity and open pollinated varieties. These heirloom and regionally adapted seeds help keep our food and flower options rich and varied, something that benefits all gardeners and future generations. When plants are selected for hardiness, flavor, and natural resilience rather than just yield or uniform appearance, you get healthier, more flavorful harvest and more beautiful blooms. Now, don't we all want to support the biodiversity? It's something that we gardeners, especially organic gardeners, I am I try to be as organic as possible. If for some reason I do something that's not, it's inadvertent. I grew up reading organic gardening, and I was a staunch advocate all of my gardening life for the organic methods. I steer away from pesticides. Now, I did share with you what I do use, and it's something that is natural, organic, and approved for organic use, and it used judiciously. It doesn't harm anything beneficial. So that's where I do utilize some help when something happens, like you get an influx, like spider mites were a really bad problem last summer, not this past summer, but the summer before. And I really needed something to prevent it from wiping out all my plants. And then they stick around. So you don't want them sticking around. You really kind of want to beat them back. So there are organic methods for helping to control things without using chemical pesticides, etc. For that. Spider mites, a lot of people handle them, but some people resort to chemical controls, and that's not necessary. There are controls that are more organic. All right. Number 6, strong work, less work later. Healthy, robust plants need fewer interventions. True. They can put up with a pest attack more than a puny plant or one that's not as robust. When your seedlings start strong, you're less likely to need extra fertilizer, pest control, or disease treatments later in the season. I guess I kind of touched on that. By investing in organic seeds, you set yourself up for lower maintenance, more abundant garden. You'll spend less time fighting problems and more time enjoying your flowers and harvest. So true. So true. And isn't that what all of us want? We want it to be easier. We want our gardens to thrive, but we don't want to have to spend hours and hours taking care of them or looking after them. I'm pretty much a lazy gardener. If you've seen any of my garden tours, you know that it's never picture perfect, but I enjoy it thoroughly. It is my oasis in a crazy world, and I don't want it to be more work. I've got other interests to indulge in. Gardening is, I don't want to call it a hobby. It is something for me that just keeps me going. And it's my sanity. I guess a lot of people's hobbies are that too, but I don't know. But I don't want to have to do it. It's no longer fun if you have to do it. That's work, not enjoyment. So, yeah, if I can find plants that will grow robustly and healthily and without a lot of input from me, and just look gorgeous, I'm all for it. So, okay. Starting with organically grown seeds is like giving your garden a strong foundation. These seeds are bred for real-world resilience, adapted to natural conditions, and free from synthetic chemicals. They produce plants that are better able to withstand pests, diseases, and environmental stress, making your garden healthier and more abundant. Whether you're planting vegetables for the kitchen, flowers for a pollinator paradise, organic seeds help you grow stronger plants and create a thriving living ecosystem right in your own backyard. So I guess the montage here is healthy seeds, healthy plants. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. Now again, organic seeds are a little bit more expensive, but if your plants are healthier, then the offset would be, yeah, you don't have to grow as many to get good plants. And so the balance is out. Now, again, there are, like Renee's Garden Seeds, they have a section of organic seeds, and then they have their regular seeds. Now, I've done fine with regular seeds, and I've even done great with Dollar Tree seeds for different things. Botanical Interest, I don't know if they have selected organic seeds, and I know Johnny's Seeds has some, Select Seeds has some. I don't know about Swallowtail Garden Seeds. These are all ones that I mentioned here that I have bought seeds from repeatedly, and I have always found them to be wonderful, grow well, germinate well. I'm trying to think of anything else, any other company. Right now I can't. So those are my main staple seed suppliers. Botanical interest, mainly because the local garden center that I love going to, they carry those seeds. And I sometimes like to walk in, oh, what, I want to grow more cosmos. And I don't want to have to order them and pay shipping, so I'll walk in there. If I'm going to order, and I know what I want, Renee's Garden Seeds. I love their seeds. The Swallowtail Garden Seeds many times carry seeds that other people don't, and the same with Select Seeds. They also will have a lot of heirloom seeds there. So they may be organically grown and they just don't. Well, yeah, Select Seeds is one of them that has organically grown seeds. So anyways, friends, I am in my studio, Primrose Cottage, because my greenhouse still isn't done and it is freezing outside. Absolutely freezing. Last week, I brought in a bunch of my plants. The Christmas cactus that I brought in are all doing great in here. In fact, some of them, as soon as I put them in, I don't know if it's because it's a little bit warmer, they started budding up. I'm just looking around to see which ones are putting on buds. Okay, this really big one up here. See this one? It's already got a bazillion little buds all over the tips. And that's exciting. I think this is the fuchsia pink one. So I think I'm going to do another video on Christmas cactus care and how I get them so big. Now, I do not pot these up. I was watching another person who was doing a Christmas cactus care, which really this one is a Thanksgiving cactus. He was doing a video and he said about how to get them big was to pot them up every year. I would disagree with that, and I'll share with you why when I do that video. So, okay, mine get big and I don't pot them up. So I will share that in that video. So I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this little chat with my spiel about growing from organic seeds, and maybe you learned something and maybe you'll want to try some. So I'll see you next time. Bye.